So let's take a look at another person here in this industry. Let's take a look at Jack L. He's also top rated. So he has a similar profile to the ones that we written for Lillian and our first person that we studied. So hi, my name is Jack Larson. I'm a web designer and front-end developer based in Salt Lake City, Utah. So right away he's saying what he does. I have been creating unique websites for clients for over 4 years now. I already know a lot about him. He has 4 years of experience creating websites. Each of the websites I design and build are designed to capture a specific audience attention and keep them engaged. So he's talking about his unique style. He designs websites that capture audiences' attention and keeps them engaged. So I already know so much about him in that first paragraph. So this is what he can do. I can build your website in custom HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If needed, I'm happy to build your website using any content management system or web builder. So he's really getting specific about certain technologies that clients might be looking for. So that's it. It's not super long. And here's his kind of call to action. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to help. So it's kind of a asking the person who's viewing it to contact them or reach out. It's that natural call to action. So they'd earn quite a bit on the platform. So this profile has served them very well. So let's study one more because I really want to make sure our profile is perfect, since those are one of the few things that can land us jobs at this point is our headshot, our title, and our profile. We don't have any prior work experience on the platform, so we're going to have a really stellar profile that impresses. So $115 an hour. Wow, that's the highest I've seen so far. Let's see how she's done. She's made over $80,000. So she's able to charge that rate and still get jobs. So she must be really, really successful, really, really talented. So she has a little bit of a longer background. Since she charges so much per hour, I think she has to go in a little bit more detail about why she charges so much per hour, what makes her so special. So she's a web designer and front-end web developer skilled in HTML, and she goes into everything that she does, as well as template platforms including Squarespace, Shopify, and WordPress. So in that first sentence, I know what she does, her title, the software she has experience in, and what she can do. All in the first line. Well done. My extensive experience and background in graphic design allow me to bridge the gap between design and development to create the most beautiful and highly functional websites. So she's really talking about how she's unique, her style, and how she's able to take graphic design and web design and make something that works well in the back end, but also looks really good in the front end. So well done, well written profile so far. So this is kind of where she talks about how she's different. She draws inspiration from her background in 3D design principles and instills this awareness of physical space and interactivity into so she's really saying kind of her unique perspective of how she works. So she's worked with a diverse clientele, talking about her prior work experience. So in addition to Decap Digital, I'm the owner and designer. So continuing, she's done a lot. She's charging $115 an hour. She has to go into a little bit more detail. So she doesn't necessarily have a call to action at the end of her last line is after stunning architecture for 2 years. I just cut a little bit more of a resume driven end. What I would do to make this even better is have kind of I'd love to work with you to engage your customer, some kind of line that drives the user to make a response to her. So I think we've done a lot of study work here. I think I'm happy with our profile. I think the length matches kind of more of the successful people. I think kind of how we broke it down into having, we're explaining what we do, we're explaining the software experience, and we're explaining our unique skill sets and how we can apply our skill sets to what we do. And then we have the call to action at the end. And I think I'm feeling pretty happy with this. So let's go to employment. So we're going to list past employment. So they did work for a company before. I'm just going to list my company. So we're going to go ahead and put the link that we were at this company. Some of you guys may not have this experience to put yet. It's not a big deal if you don't. Do not worry about it. Not everybody has prior work experience. So here we are. We just finished our profile. We can go ahead and get this published so we could start to get out there for jobs, but also start to submit proposals that we think we would connect and want to do. So we're just double checking our entire profile here. We're going to go ahead and click Publish Profile. Congrats, you're now a part of the Upwork network. Woohoo! So let's go ahead and look in our feed and kind of see. Let's go click on Recommended, kind of see what we think would work really well. So here's a Creative Designer Monthly. Let's check it out. I got to read and write in Arabic. Don't think that's going to work out. So you're not going to be able to apply to every job. You're going to be able to apply to a select few. And people can also find you and search as well, so they may ask you to submit a proposal, and that's when we'll get into proposal writing. And another note, if you get your profile denied, sometimes your profile can be denied. I've had a couple students contact me and say Upwork sent me this generic message saying they're not accepting their skill sets at the time. So sometimes Upwork will deny your profile for a couple of reasons, and there's several tips on getting, if your profile was not approved, there's several kind of tips. I'm going to supply several link to articles that go into how to get your profile up and running and maybe resubmit for approval, because I've had some students change their profile 5 times and they finally got it approved. So some of that's just based on the skill sets they put. Maybe that Upwork has too many freelancers in those skill sets and you just have to adjust that a little bit. I've known some students who change their skill sets and then change it back to the ones that they want to do after they had their profile accepted. There's all sorts of things you can do. I'm going to post a couple of articles that I think would be helpful in those kind of situations where you do find yourself where it didn't approve it like mine was approved right away. But hopefully if you went through the process like I did, you write a really good profile and you're in high demand skill sets, you're not going to have any problem getting approved. Ooh, here's a good one. Looking for a graphic designer ninja to work with the best team ever, and it can be full-time or part-time. Let's kind of look at this a little bit more. Let's look at in more detail. So they're looking for 3 freelancers. So this is where having an amazing portfolio and profile are really going to help you stand above the crowd. You already have that. We talked about how to build a killer portfolio that's clean and gets right to the point with your projects. We've already talked about how to write a really great profile or bio. So we already have that. I already given you a lot of things to hopefully get you above the stack on the top of the stack when you apply to these types of jobs. So let's go ahead and read through this to see if we like it. We're searching for a talented designer to help us bring our next branding campaigns to life. And hey, I'm a logo design brander. Lillian is a logo design branding expert, so our title will stand right out to them. We're looking for someone to design a number of different categories: food, restaurant, medical. So, okay. We need to have advanced knowledge of Sketch, InVision Studio, Figma. We already have the Adobe Creative Cloud and other software. It says in your proposal, and a lot of times people will ask you for specific things in their proposal, so make sure you read the entire item. In your proposal, please provide 1 or 2 paragraph summary of your design experience and why you'd be a great fit for this work. So we already have that. Also include 2 relevant samples that show your best design work and creativity. So we already have that. I have those first 2 projects. Guess what? I can probably even submit those pages of my PDF portfolio that we created as well, or at least take snapshots or get those images we used. So we already did this. We don't have to do any extra work. We've already done this. We have 2 projects that we can show, and we already have some summary and a bio of what we have done and experienced in the past. Okay, so when you find a project that you think will fit, go ahead and submit a proposal. Of course, you might have to do some verification of your ID. My ID, so I went through that process where I had to submit a driver's license to be able to apply to jobs in the US. So you'll be in a different country, you may have different requirements. So I did that, and to be able to submit proposals, I wanted to talk about connects for a little bit. You'll have to have 20 connects. So this is when you're able to spend those to be able to submit proposals or reach out to clients. Of course, they can always reach out to you anytime, but this is for you applying and reaching out to jobs. So you get 20 when you start, and you can always buy additional ones, or you can get the plus plan, which you get 70 each month, or the free. After you spend the 20, they're going to cost a little bit. And so this is kind of how Upwork makes money. They make a little bit of money from the people who are seeking out jobs, and they make a little money from freelancers like you. This is how they stay in business. This is part of how it works. But $14.99 is not bad if you start getting a lot of client work that can help pay for that. But you don't need to pay for anything right up front. You still get 20 to use, so you got to use them very wisely. You got to really pick those ones that you want to be able to submit proposals. So let's say we want to submit a proposal on a project where we were last time. So this particular one requires 4 of our connects, and we have 20. So we have to really make sure if it's a really high connect requirement. So in this case, 4 basically is the same as coins or currency. If it's a very high, so 4, we got to really make sure we want it. because then after that, after we run out of 20, we have to pay 15 cents for each one or get some kind of monthly subscription to be able to get 70 each month. Let's go ahead and submit a proposal. So we need to figure out how we're going to be paid. You could be paid by milestone. So that's dividing the project into smaller segments called milestones. Once you complete a milestone, let's say you develop a logo and you're done with that logo concept and it gets approved, that's a milestone and you get a little bit of payment. And then when you submit the final files, you get the remainder of the payment. Or you could do it by project, get paid at the very end. So I like to do by project. It's a little bit more simple, but if you have longer projects, I would suggest the milestone. So if you're doing a web design project that's going to take a month or two, definitely milestone, because you don't want to wait till the very end to get paid. We're going to use the knowledge that we learned about pricing projects and to fill this out. So bid, how much do we want to bid for this? We kind of read a little bit about the project. This is a different project than the one I was on just a few minutes ago. So we're going to just do 200. And so this is going to be the Upwork service fee. So these are kind of things that, another way that Upwork makes money. This is how these platforms work. You got to get paid to be able to connect to clients. So you got to understand that's part of the business. So I'll end up receiving after fees $160 for this. I think this is just a simple logo needed and vector files needed. So this is a really low price. This is lower than what Lillian or I would ever be happy with, but I don't have any social proof on the platform. I'm hoping if I do really good and I get this job, I get paid a little less than I would charge if I ran into a client or found a client locally. I would charge $400. But since I'm trying to build up my social proof and reviews, this is part of what I have to do. So timeline. So you need to be realistic with this. If you could do it in a week, do it in a week. If it's going to take 3 to 6 months, you just need to be very realistic here. So I'm going to say I can do this in a week. It's a very quick job. Cover letter, we're going to kind of adapt our bio a little bit to this. So we're just going to put our bio in here. Okay, we're going to attach, sometimes they required, like that one job was requiring our 2 projects. So this is where your PDF portfolio, you may think that was old school or who needs a PDF portfolio, we need it all online. This is where having the PDF portfolio really helps because you can attach that, you can export only certain pages or certain projects out of your PDF portfolio if you want to show off a certain project. So let's utilize what we did already earlier in the class. Let's go ahead and attach that PDF. All right, we're going to submit our proposal. Yay! So we're going to go ahead and submit it and kind of see what happens. We're going to go apply for a couple more jobs so I can spend all of the connects that I have, spend all 20, and kind of hopefully maybe one of those will contact me and for the job so I can be accepted for the job. Also with Upwork, they can contact you by looking at your profile and finding you on the search. So there's ways that they can inquire you to submit a proposal without you having to submit one, but do a combination. Always use your connects. If you have any for free, use them all. Go ahead and apply to the top jobs you think you have the best, if you're the best candidate for. Don't apply to jobs that are out of your skill range. Apply to ones that are maybe under your skill range. So you have a higher probability of getting those first couple jobs to get some social proof on the platform. So we created an Upwork profile and we already applied to a couple of jobs. So now we just wait and hope that we get connected. But this is just one website. There's so many other ones to explore. So I created an excellent resource full of all sorts of great quality freelancer websites for you to also create profiles on, just so you can increase your chances of landing a job.